I sometimes use this phrase of belonging is your nature. And I'm not just saying that as the comforting, beautiful phrase. I genuinely mean that. It's your nature. It's my nature. And I'd like to take a moment and share my perspective on that. And if you're new to my channel, then my name is Josephine, and I'm really glad to have you on board. And if you're a regular viewer, then you know the drill. Warmly welcome back. I'd like to start with really unfolding what our nature mean. What do I mean when I say it's our nature? It's basically what we are. The thing that we don't have to make an effort. Like it's the nature of water to be wet. It's the nature of ice to be cold. It's like so inherently the thing. If you remove it, if you remove coldness from ice, it is no longer ice. If you remove wetness from water, it's no longer water. So what is our nature? It's what we are, basically. Did that make sense? Because it took me quite a while to really get this, that it is our nature. Because in everyday language, it's sometimes used a bit wrong. Like you could say, oh, it's in my nature to go to the gym. Well, not really. I mean, yeah, I might go to the gym regularly, but I would still be me if I didn't go to my gym. It's more like saying, yeah, the nature of something is what it is. So the nature of you is belonging. And I don't say this coming from a pedestal, because belonging has been something I've struggled with all my life, basically. I've always felt a bit odd ever since I was a child, like I easily connected with friends one-on-one, but belonging in groups was always a bit more challenging for me. To feel like people actually wanted me there, or that I was, when we talked about the team, I did a lot of different sports, like football and handball and swimming and gymnastics, and yeah. Never for very long, just for like a year or so. And when we spoke about the team, I was never really sure if I was included. I think from everyone else's perspective, I was included, but I didn't have this sense of belonging. Not that I haven't belonged, I have, but it doesn't come natural to me. Yeah. And I think for a long time, I didn't even recognize that there was a need I had, or that there was something I longed for. I was a bit of like having an identity of, I'm fine on my own, I don't need anyone else. Well, technically, possibly, yes, but it is really sweet to belong. So perhaps this sounds a bit in opposition to what I'm trying to say. If I have struggled with belonging and now I claim that belonging is our nature, well, I guess this is not too long ago. It's within the last few months. I was with a new group of people, and I somehow was contemplating if I belong here. And there was this voice inside me. I don't know if you have it as well, but it's not, it doesn't come out as the normal voice that my thoughts have. I think it's what people call, like, they would probably call it the voice of God, or the deeper I, like from my subconscious. And I don't really mind what we call it. I don't I don't need to have a story around it, but I usually do well in listening to it because it's kind of wise. And usually it comes as a voice, but sometimes it more comes like an energy almost, fades in and out of voice, energy, knowing. But this came pretty much as a voice. So I was contemplating whether I belonged here, not out of pure suffering, just out of a little bit of social anxiety, mm, a bit of discomfort. And this voice came almost like this little, lovingly teasing. It was like, well, honey, you know, you have this belief that you don't belong, and then you ask the world to prove to you that you belong. Well, how about just dropping the first belief? And then the world has nothing to prove. And it almost made me laugh a bit. Like, can it really be that simple? Can I just drop the belief that I don't belong? And the voice was like, well, yes, try it. And it's not necessarily new to me, but it dropped one level deeper. It dropped into my nervous system, to my body. It almost becomes a bit humorous. Like, I start with the belief that I do not belong, and then I ask for the world to prove me wrong, prove that I do belong. Well, how about I just drop the belief in the first place? What if I start from emptiness? What if I start with no belief? Well, if I have no belief, then there's no separation, so I'm actually in belonging. Did that make sense? Did you follow that? Because if you don't have a belief of whether you belong or you don't belong, well, you can't be in complete limbo, because either there is a separation or there isn't. So then you actually have to start with belonging. And that's not to suggest that we are really liked in every group and that everyone wants us to be part of their community or their group. No, but that's secondary. What we actually want, when we want to be part of a group, we want to feel belonging. But if that's never at stake, my feeling of belonging is never at stake, it doesn't become so important to be included in a group. It's fun when it happens, and when it doesn't happen, well, that's okay, because I belong to the bigger perspective. Almost like I belong to life. Life has granted me the feeling of belonging. As long as I don't hold on to a belief that I don't belong, I belong. I belong to myself. I belong to life. I belong to existence. I am. That's the ultimate belonging. When we try to fit into a group, or when it's important for us that other people include us when they speak about certain organizations or a certain cluster of people, it's because we hold on to this belief that I don't belong, and I need the world to prove that I do belong. I need other people to validate that I actually do belong, so I can put a layer on top of this belief of not belonging. But when that evaporates, it doesn't really matter what other people think. I don't have a need to betray myself to belong anywhere, or to force myself into a cluster of people that there's not a mutual. We don't click. It doesn't become a threat to my ultimate belonging. Yeah. Belonging to life, that's what we really long for. The rest is just a celebration for that. All of the other belonging comes from that source. And you belong, and so do I. Hmm. What is your relationship with belonging? And how does this perspective land for you? Warmly welcome to share your perspective in the comment section, because here you certainly belong. I hope to see you next time.